Hey, what's going on, true Blazer fans? It's Tori, and I'm back with another weekly recap. Now, we're only going to be talking about 2 games, but it was a very fun 2 games. That game on Thursday against the Brooklyn Nets, where we played against some former Trailblazers that all had pretty good games against us, and then that huge win over the Philadelphia 76ers on Saturday morning. 10 a.m. games are a struggle. That was weird. I don't know why we were playing on 10 a.m. on a Saturday. I thought they only did those on Sundays, but we had breakfast with the Blazers, and as Lamar Hurd said at the end of the game, it turned out pretty well. But before we get into that, make sure to follow True Blazer Fan on Twitter at True Blazer Fan, and follow me as well at Tori Jones YT. I would greatly appreciate it. And with that, let's talk a little bit about each specific game from the past week, starting off in Brooklyn. And Brooklyn, while they're in the Eastern Conference and they're a 500 team, they're a team that can beat the best teams in the league. They play well, and it's a struggle. Now, they were missing Spencer Dinwiddie, but they recently had Caris LeVert return, so it wasn't like they were any more injured than they have been throughout the entire season. Allen Crabbe had maybe his best game of the season. I haven't been following him too closely, but he's been struggling mightily this season. He had 17 points. Ed Davis had a few good buckets inside, showed us everything that we remember about Ed Davis. And then you had Shabazz Napier getting 10 assists, leading the team in plus minus. It was kind of crazy when 3 of those guys were on the court. That was almost like a 2016 Trailblazers practice scrimmage. The main reason we beat the Brooklyn Nets, though, were because of our 2 big men, Jusuf Nurkic and Enes Kanter's debut. Both of those guys combined for 45 points, 21 rebounds on 18 for 24 shooting. And that's phenomenal. 48 minutes of center production at that level is absolutely huge. And then you have to think about, they were going against 2 good defensive centers in Jarrett Allen and Ed Davis. 2 good centers that are really good rebounders. So that makes this even more impressive. The Blazers had a 60-49 rebound advantage, and that'll be a common theme throughout the rest of the season because we are one of the best rebounding teams in the league, and when you add a guy like Enes Kanter, you only get better because he's a phenomenal rebounder. In the Philadelphia game, we out-rebounded them 53-33. We had 19 offensive rebounds in both of these games, and we're just crashing the board so hard that it's like when we miss shots, we have about a 50-50 chance of getting the rebound. It would be cool to see the stat on that, how many percentage of offensive rebounds we've gotten the past 2 games, but it's been a very high percentage. Now, a couple of smaller performances and things that I want to touch on before I get into a few main themes. Starting off with Rodney Hood, I noticed the last 2 games that he was being used a lot as a bailout option with the shot clock running down. There would be possessions where he wouldn't touch the ball at all, he wouldn't get a chance to create at all, until there was only 4 seconds left on the shot clock. So while he did have a bad shooting efficiency line against the Brooklyn Nets, at least 3, maybe 4 of those shots were heaves at the shot clock buzzer that weren't really his fault at all. There was at least 1 play in the Philadelphia game like that as well. I would like to see us get him more involved, handle the ball a little bit more. He can score out of the pick and roll, and he can actually pass a little bit out of the pick and roll for a score-first player. He had a very good pass to Enes Kanter in that Philadelphia game where he slowed down his pace on the pick and roll and then delivered a nice pass underneath that Enes finished easily. I would like to see us get Rodney Hood the ball more and have him be more of a part of our offense, but that might be us just bringing him along and him not being 100% comfortable with the offense yet, or that might just be a coaching mistake where we just aren't utilizing him properly. As far as Jake Layman goes, for some reason in that Brooklyn Nets game, we didn't really hit him on any back cuts and we didn't really get him any shots. He hasn't really hit threes the past couple games, and he's definitely up and down in that area. He's definitely inconsistent. Hopefully he can get that 3-point shot going again, because before this 2-game stretch, the 10 games before it, he was shooting over 40% from the 3-point line, and that was very promising, very nice to see, because this dude as a 40% 3-point shooter with his cutting ability and his finishing ability is a great player. CJ McCollum is somewhat struggling again, and I guess this is just going to be this dude's whole season. He had a 4 or 5 game stretch where he was hot a little bit before the All-Star break, where a lot of people were saying That's the CJ we know and love. He's out of his slump. This is how he's going to be the rest of the season. But then, after the All-Star game, these past 2 games, he's definitely struggled with his shot. He's even missing open threes, which he normally does not miss. Would be nice to get him going, but we haven't really needed him to get going. Al-Farouq Aminu has played well the past couple games. It was nice to see him hit multiple 3-pointers against the Brooklyn Nets. Then he had a couple really good drives against the 76ers and even had a lob pass to Harkless on the fast break. He and Harkless had 2 fast breaks where they fed one of the other that resulted in buckets. It's nice seeing these guys effectively run a fast break just by themselves. And that's all I got for part 1. Make sure you check out part 2, True Blazer fans. I will try and drop that shortly. And with that, that's all I got for now. See you later. Go Blazers.